Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it. Okay. I'm back at it again, man. You know? Listen, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Salute to all the savages in the chat. Mike343, good to see y'all in here. Everybody coming on in. Listen, New York Jets get themselves a W over the Atlanta Falcons in preseason, 24-16. There's a lot to discuss about what we saw, man. There was some good play and there was some bad play. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be discussing that tonight. Again, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. The lines are open. Let's go ahead and kick this off. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook. Okay, like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. Love hearing about what you folks think I do here on the Long Beach Joe Show. You know what I'm saying? Long Beach Joe Show on Facebook. Hit it up. I am also on Twitter as well. YoungJ000. Okay, that's my personal page. Show's page is at The Long Beach Joe. At The Long Beach Joe. Go ahead and give that a follow and give you a follow right back. And let's go back and forth and talk about football. Let's talk about this team. Also on YouTube as well, for those of you that do not know. I am on YouTube, all right? Voice made for radio, okay? Face made for movies, okay? I got a face made for TV, folks. People tell me all the time, hey, Joe, you're looking good. You're looking good. So I truly enjoy that. And I'm not a cocky guy. You know, I'm just a regular dude. You know what I mean? So love going back and forth with people as well. So come on over to YouTube. Search Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, okay? Search that there. Come on over. Hit that subscription button, okay? And then hit that notification bell so when I post content, y'all be in the know. Your boy's on iTunes as well. Go on over to iTunes. Search The Long Beach Joe Show. The Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes. Subscribe there, all right? And give me some let me know when you do it, so give me some notifications about that. But also, you know, give me some feedback as well. Give me a 5-star rating. I want to thank everyone that does do that. Lets me know, hey, this is what we're doing here. We enjoy what you're doing here. This is why we listen. So I want to thank everybody for doing that. Give me some feedback and 5-star rating over there as well. So now it's time to get into it because there's quite a bit to discuss, man. Quite a bit to discuss, okay? Look, New York Jets get a win over the Falcons, in preseason. Again, salutes to all the savages in the chat, Chris, Mac, everybody. Will come to you in a second as well as the lines. The lines are hot. We're going to get to everybody. Listen here. We got a W, 24-16, but I'll tell you what, starting out the game, it was ugly. It was very, very ugly. All right, the Jets came out, and they just looked very unmotivated, especially, again, with a lot of guys that had their roster spots on the line. There was a lot of guys that were looking at possibly being, you know, not on the roster here, being out the door. They're fighting for, you know, their right to move forward and play here during the season. It seemed like a lot of guys were coming out and were just lackadaisical, just kind of lollygagging around. Like, I don't really understand what's going on around here. But they came out, they looked sloppy, they weren't playing well, especially particularly defensively. We saw Mariota come out. He went 6 for 10, had 132 yards on the day, also had a TD. The game started out really bad for our defense, particularly a guy, Bryce Hall, as well. They came out and threw a 52-yard bomb to Kyle Pitts, who beat Bryce badly, coming straight out the breaks. And he even talked about it. Pitts talked about it during the game. They asked him, hey, how did it feel to get that big catch to start the game off? And he said, look, I was facing the corner. I started running. I saw him scared backpedaling, just scary pedaling. He didn't open his hips up, and I took off, and I was like, oh, yeah, I got him. Bryce Hall looked bad, man. I'm not going to lie, and I love Bryce. Everybody knows that. I've talked about him competing for that number 1 spot. He looked great last year. He was one of the bright spots on this defense, but he had a bad game. You know, he had a bad game. There was also a host of guys just running open in our secondary, too. And let's keep in mind, I want to keep in mind, yes, we didn't play a lot of starters, okay? But there was a lot of guys out there that are going to get quality snaps out there. And there was, some guys that are going to be starting that were out there too, that were getting beat. We saw guys running wide open in our secondary. And the biggest issue is this is some of the same stuff that we saw in the first preseason game too. Seemed like there's a lot of confusion out there defensively, particularly with the starting squad. I watched the guy Ferkser running wide open in our secondary, just trotting around. He got a bomb for 39, So it's like it was kind of weird, kind of odd to see these guys just getting caught out there like that. Bryce Hall also gave up a TD as well. He had another bad penalty on a catch that he gave up too. It was just a bad day all around for Hall, and especially, again, with a guy like him who is competing for his number one corner spot. I don't know, this doesn't bode well. I'll tell you like that. Then you look at our offense. Our offense was nothing to write home about either. Mike White wasn't necessarily, amazing at all. He was 12 of 17 on a day, 90 yards. Only drive he had that ended up in some points was a Zerline field goal. And the Jets were really sloppy as well. Lots of penalties, 11 penalties for 104 yards. That was insane. The Falcons got penalized pretty heavily too as well, 13 penalties for 121 yards. But, man, the Jets just looked sloppy all around. It looked really bad and unmotivated. And it looked like the opposite of that for the Falcons. Arthur Smith was letting guys have it. If you made a mistake, if you did something stupid, if you did something he did not like, especially when the offense was getting bogged down by penalties, which were killing some of their drives, he was letting guys have it when they was coming to the sidelines. He was letting guys know this is not the way we play football over here. He was screaming at Desmond Ridder. He was screaming at all those guys, man. Mind you, Ridder had a solid game too. He was putting balls in places with great touch. He was 10 of 13, 134 yards. Again, some of his drives got stalled because of penalties against him. Thank goodness for us. It was ugly, man. But I tell you what, after the half, Streveler comes in the third quarter, and it was like, boom. Just a burst of energy for the New York Jets. Just a burst. He just energized the entire team. It was crazy. Streveler was 8 of 11, 119 yards of TD. He hit Cager for a 34-yard TD, and Cager got moving and got in the end zone. He did throw an interception as well, though. It was a ball he was trying to get to Mims, and Mims had it kind of in his hands, but then the safety, for the Falcons was able to take it away. I thought it hit the ground at first, to be completely honest, but once he got up and started running with it, I was like, he might have gotten it, but that was a dicey throw. But Streveler was making a lot of great throws with guys in his face, absolutely in his face. He also had 33 yards rushing as well. He was moving and getting outside the pocket. He actually led the Jets in rushing in the preseason game too. He led another drive as well that got capped off by a TD with P. Ryan getting into the end zone. So Streveler looked really good. He looked really good. And this is the second time that we've seen him go out there and really put some things together. And at this point, I got to ask Jets fans, should Streveler be the guy? Let's say he continues to look like this. Should the Jets keep him and possibly make him our third-string quarterback? Does this close the door on Mike White? I want to know. There's a lot of Jets fans out there talking about this. This Streveler guy has looked really good. He's looked very good. Then defensively, we were able to kind of get some things together as well, able to make some stops. But Anai, a defensive player for the Jets, was able to actually really make a big play. Franks, one of their quarterbacks for the Falcons, was trying to roll out, got hit, fumbled, and Anai picked it up and returned it for a 30-yard touchdown. That gave us 24. Things look really good. He looked really good. After the half, things just turned around for us. It really did, and things just started to pop. And again, these are third-string, fourth-string guys, but it was good to see the Jets kind of get things together and turn things around and start to pick up the energy. Jonathan Marshall, defensive lineman, also made some big plays as well, too. He had a sack. Then on the very next play, he turned around and just blasted a Falcons player that was trying to catch a screen, just destroyed him. And that just absolutely energized the entire team, the sideline, everything. So it was good to see things turn around, but the start of the game was terrible. It was a snoozer to watch. The Jets have got to start picking up this energy. And, again, I understand we didn't play a lot of starters, but when you got a lot of guys out there that are supposed to be playing for their spots on this roster, you can't be looking like that. That just looked terrible. They looked like they were just out there lollygagging. Everybody's laughing, joking, smiling, getting beat. Guys running around in secondary wide open. It's just ridiculous. It's terrible. I tell you what, there was a lot of guys that looked really good. Kaser looked good. Tariq Black looked good. He went out for an injury. Still getting some feedback about him. But he was 4 for 47, 4 catches for 47 yards. Mims looked solid as well as the game continued on, 3 catches for 43 yards. And Garrett Wilson continues to impress. He continues to impress, man. Defensively, Marshall, like I said, he looked good as well, and Anai was really putting things together. There's a lot of guys that made some bonehead plays, though, as well. A lot of penalties. Wesco had some penalties that were just unbelievable. So then you turn to today, and the Jets have made some cuts to get down to 80. The cuts that they made, Elijah Riley is safety. He's been moved on from. He's cut. Isaiah Williams as well was cut. Caleb Beninoch, he's cut. Kai Naka, linebacker, he's cut as well. And Eddie Pinheiro has been released. He's cut. And that's crazy because our kicking competition really has been hot, man. Really hot. It was like neck and neck pretty much this entire offseason. It's just been neck and neck, man, between Pinheiro and Greg Zuerlein. They've been kicking back and forth, just doing their thing. And it looks like we're moving forward with Zuerlein. Again, last night he hit a 44-yarder. Looked good. And I'm hoping that the New York Jets have finally solved the kicking issue here. Because for years, ever since Joe Douglas is here, we've had big-time issues with kicking. Anybody remember the host of guys that we had here? You know, from Vic to all these, oh, God. It's been bad. It's been really, really bad, okay? So now we're moving forward with Zuerlein. Seems like he's going to be the guy going into the season. But there's questions about, you know, who's going to be the guys going anywhere else. Because there's some starting spots. That number one corner spot, to me, man, Bryce Hall really put himself in a bad position. He also, again, got Streveler looking good again. Should Streveler be our third-string quarterback? We're going to be asking those questions. So lines are open again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is number. Call in. We are taking all callers. We're about to get to the lines. I don't want to go on forever. Also, anybody watching me, no matter where you're watching me from, please subscribe to the stream. YouTube, please give the stream a thumbs up. Also, share the stream with your friends and your family. And when you do subscribe, please hit that notification bell so when I post content, y'all be in the know. If you want to give to the stream, the Super Chat's there. If you don't want to go through Super Chat, Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. Anything that you give to the program is greatly appreciated. And new callers I do have, so, hey, you know, when you call in, please, that we do not allow cursing on my show, okay? Don't curse here. I get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Faster than we got Michael Cagney out here. Up out of here, McCagnon. It's about time for you to go. So glad we moved forward with a better general manager. So we're going to get to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. First caller, we're going to my guy, Jason. We're going to Jason. I know Jason has some takes. Salutes to you, Jason. I want to thank you for calling in tonight, my friend. How are you feeling, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. You know, was a little not happy yesterday, but you know what? Yeah, I'm happy we got the W, and happy. Hopefully, it's not what's gonna go for our future. You know.
Mhm. Yeah. You know, and again, this is just preseason. I think everybody pretty much is, you know, understands that. But it was just, to me, it looked really sloppy starting off and really lackadaisical. Were you surprised with so many guys with their roster spot on the line that everybody looked kind of like they were just, you know, out there sleepwalking?
Well, to be honest, I believe, you know, I was very surprised, you know. Coach is preaching all gas, no brakes, and yet players out here coming out flat and, you know, not taking this seriously. But Huff was getting beat left and right. It just seemed like no one was actually fighting for a position at the start of the game, and they were just having fun and not actually taking it seriously, unlike some young players that's actually fighting for a roster spot.
Yeah, it was just mind-blowing to me. I really couldn't understand why they would come out there just looking like that. Now, when you're talking about guys fighting for a roster spot, man, let me tell you, this guy, Streveler, really looked good. Really liked what Chris Streveler was able to bring to the table. How did you feel about the energy and spark that he brought when he went out there and was just absolutely turning things around for the Jets, in that third quarter?
It's good for him to be able to come in and make something for him, And in my opinion, I think that because I'm probably gonna go the polar opposite here and say that I would put him as a practice squad. I would not put him as a third string QB.
Wow.
But you know what? I saw him in preseason, and for preseason he did very well. Again, he had the INT, double coverage. But you know what? He did very well for it being third stringers out there.
Mm-hmm. So here's my thing. And, again, I'm just, playing devil's advocate there. I've had a lot of discussions with people, and they're saying, hey, if Streveler comes out, let's say the third game comes up, maybe we should give him time earlier than what we would normally do, right? Let's see him with the second-string guys. And if he performs well, right, starting out that game, going forward, because, again, it looks like Sulla's not really going to play too many of these veterans going forward from what we've seen so far. If he does do well with guys in that second string, should he be allowed to get that third-string quarterback spot? Because I don't think he's a guy at this point, when you look at some of the performances he's put together, is he a guy that you think you'll be able to release and actually make it to the practice squad? Couldn't you see somebody snatching him up? Well,
to be honest, any of these QBs you can argue can be snatched up. Mike White, if you put him on the practice squad, he's going to be able to snatch up as well. Especially, remember last year, Mike White was able to produce while he actually won us the game against the Bengals. That's something that this other QB has never done and has never shown like that. Again, he played against third stringers, yes, but he has never been in the real game and shown to be able to win us games, unlike Mike White. So, he can, in my opinion, Mike White has proven that if we need to throw him out there, if somehow Flacco does get hurt, Mike White has been proven and shown to be able to get us to be the best chance to win.
Okay. Actually, a lot of people are having those discussions. I understand that. But I tell you what, Streveler gave that spark. Another guy that continues to play well as we go throughout this preseason is Cager. I mean, isn't Cager a must-keep at this point? Isn't he a guy that you look at and say, look, this year he's going to make that roster. We're going to move forward with him. He's got to be on the 53?
Yes, absolutely. You know what? I would give Wesco spots to Cager. Wesco last night showed that he cannot do it, and you know what? I love Cager. From him moving from wide receiver to tight end, and he's doing good with it. He's still learning, but he's showing some improvements into it, and so I would love to have him as a four string tight end. Are we going to be able to keep him? We'll see, and we'll find out in a couple of weeks. But I would love to have him on the team.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking phenomenal, man. He's made plays. Last game, I think he had like a couple of catches for 40 yards. This game, 65 yards and a touchdown. He looks good, man, and such a big guy, man. Just to see him take off, get running, it's unbelievable to watch. Now, another guy that has a lot of question marks surrounding him as well, Denzel Mims. Mims, 3 catches, 43 yards. At this point, has he done enough in your mind to cement his spot on the roster?
Problem is with that little positive he had a couple. I believe he had a foul in the game too, a flag that got called on him. And so, in my opinion, no, he has not. We have these other.
Wow. I'm
going to make a huge prediction and say he will not be on the 53-man roster. I'm calling it here.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's go there with this, all right, because you're talking about it right now. So let's say the New York Jets keep 6 wide receivers. All right, let's say they keep 6. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Braxton Berrios. You got Corey Davis. You got Elijah Moore. So that gives you 2 more spots. What wide receivers do you have predicting? If the Jets keep 6, who do you predict makes it with those last 2 spots?
Jeff Smith, I believe, would be with the 5, and then the 6, I believe, is Jackson.
Okay, but so you're not keeping Cager. So you're keeping Smith and Jackson.
Well, Cager's tight end.
So he's not going to switch back because a lot of people talking about him switching back to wide receiver. So you're keeping Calvin Jackson Jr. and Jeff Smith, and you're giving Cager the tight end spot. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's, listen, Jeff Smith has put things together. He absolutely has. All right. I like that. Now, when you look at our running back position, are you a guy that thinks that we'll keep 4 running backs?
I don't think so. I think we're going to carry only 3, and
okay.
I think I wish, to be honest, I love a little bit of what Knight is, but at this point, I think it's going to be Bryce Hall, Michael Collar, and Coleman for 1 year, and try to stash Knight on a practice squad, and then get him, see if we could develop him next year, and hopefully he doesn't get caught by any teams.
Okay. Yeah, I like Knight as well. I mean, he's made some really good runs. And, again, he gives you something on special teams, too, really quality snaps. But like you said, I look at it, and I'm thinking Coleman is probably going to be the guy. Bryce Hall is probably going to be the other guy. And, again, Michael Carter is, the guy who's going to make it. Again, we just drafted Bryce Hall, so, of course, he's going to be there. Carter, who showed a lot. And a lot of people are talking about getting rid of Coleman. But, again, I think that Coleman is going to make it. This is a guy, again, we've seen have some returns, and he's a veteran back that the office, the front office, the staff really covet. So, listen, Jason, this has been a phenomenal call. My final question before I let you go, man, is when you look at Bryce Hall at this point, do you think that number 1 spot is gone for him? I mean, he's getting beat. We saw him get beat by Pitts. We saw him give up a TD. We saw a penalty. Where do you think he falls at this point, man?
Dude, he lost 100%. Man, he lost it faster than he lost it faster than Matt McKinnon lost his job as a GM. God.
Hold on.
It was bad.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
It last night, I don't know if he wasn't putting the effort in. He was just getting beat left and right. And if you look on the opposite, his Sauce was on the other side. They didn't even talk to him once. They just kept throwing it to Bryce because they know Sauce, man. They know Sauce, he's the real deal, and he's going to be the starting CB.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, you're speaking the truth there, JC. This was a phenomenal call from you, man. Oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. It was a fire. You were on fire tonight, my friend. You were absolutely on fire. Listen, let me give you a hand, man. Studio audience, give Jason a hand. You started out hot, man. Give my hand. Show some respect. Yeah, whoa. Not too much. Okay. Listen, I like you. I like Jason a lot. I think he's a good guy. But y'all doing a little bit too much, all right? I'm not going to pay you for extra claps. We ain't got the budget. It's not in the budget, okay? Listen, Jason, I want to thank you for calling in. It was a phenomenal call from you. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right, my friend?
Oh, we do, man. And good luck, hopefully, this next week. We do good against the Giants, and go Jets.
Absolutely. Salutes, man. Listen, Jason calling in. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Listen, we're talking Jets roster, all right? We're talking about it all. I want to know, is there somebody that you're looking at right now and you're saying, hey, this guy's probably gone because his performance has not been up to par? I need to know. So next we're going to my guy, Daniel Roberts. Rusty will come to you in a second. Daniel, salutes. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. How are you feeling tonight, man? Daniel Roberts, are you there? 1, 2, 3, 4? All right. Maybe he's tripping. We're going to go ahead and go to Rusty, man. Rusty, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in tonight, my man. Listen, Rusty, it is time to talk. But before we do that, for those of you that do not know, Rusty is a savage. He's a savage.
Yeah.
Damn. Rusty's a damn savage. Rusty salutes. I want to thank you for calling in. Rusty, give me your thoughts on some of the things that we saw out there with just how sloppy the Jets were playing at first. Were you so surprised that we got penalized as heavily as we did, 11 penalties for 104 yards? What were your thoughts on the sloppy play and all the things you saw out there?
Salutes, Joe. Salutes, fellow savages. And, that was muck, you know? It was definitely some swamplands for sure. It's discipline, and then I know that, you know, we don't have all of our starters in, but I don't know, man. I have faith in us. There's got to be something, you know. It seems like there's something missing from it. I don't know if it's Ulbrich, but I don't know. And I guess that's just with the defense. But as far as it's with the penalties, that's just discipline. I think the guys are just so gung-ho and hyped up. You know, we calmed down, but Falcons certainly didn't. But I don't know. That's definitely an issue that's got to be taken care of and wiped out immediately, though. I don't know. Just hope to bring it to the Giants. Yeah, sorry. I sort of went all over the place on that a little bit, Joe.
Listen, it's just kind of surprising again to see so many guys kind of just out there being lackadaisical with their roster spots on the line, especially again when you look, and not even just roster spots on the line where you won't make the roster, but guys competing to get those starting spots. Because there were, again, we didn't play a lot of our starters, but we did play some guys that were out there, and then there was also some guys, again, competing for those starting spots, and some of them didn't perform well, like Bryce Hall, man. What were your thoughts about what we saw out there from him?
Bryce is my boy, but, you know, I didn't think he was really going to be the number one, but, you know, I could see it. I mean, he still has a chance to be at some point, but he's definitely not going to be the one. It's either going to be Reid and then, you know, Sauce. That's when they're going to test Sauce out when Reid is there. But I don't think we're getting rid of Hall. And if we do, I think JD would ask probably for like a second rounder or something like that. That's what I would want minimum. But I hope we don't get rid of him. I like Bryce. He definitely needed Imodium yesterday. You know, he did that in the bed a little bit. So, but they were just attacking him. You know, they were just literally going for him, and Pitts baptized him, man. Jeez. But it's I don't think he's gonna get cut, or I don't think he's gonna get traded. But it definitely showed that he's going to be one of those guys that are probably going to be switching in and out, you know, on a rotational thing. And it's good to have, if you're going to have somebody like him as, you know, quote unquote, like a backup, that's a good problem, you know. But that's how I'm seeing it. I don't think I think we're too used to being crappy in a way, to where you know, we have a good collection of quality guys and then some, you know, to where we can just off of the talent alone, hopefully, you know, cause some havoc and cause some chaos and just literally go for the throat and the jugulars just on every single play, because you don't know when it's your last or next man up type of deal. But that's how I see it with these types of with these guys. And then sometimes too, you know, we go a little bit too ham in a way. So penalties.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the penalties to me were crazy. But again, you know, Bryce Hall, I'm a big Bryce Hall guy as well. I don't think he played very well. I know that there's a lot of fans that have had discussions talking about getting rid of him, trading him, all kinds of things. And I don't think that that's necessarily what they'll do. Again, if you look at us last season, we were a team that suffered because we didn't have, you know, well, first off, we had a lot of injuries, and that costed us a lot. So, you know, and again, you know, you want to have that depth, and we didn't have that at certain spots, and that really costed us, particularly, again, if you look at us offensively. But if you look at us defensively, you know, guys kind of stepped up in certain spots, were able to do some things. Remember when we had issues with safety, there were some guys that we were able to kind of get off the street, some guys that we kind of stepped up, and they held their fort, and I don't think we need to, again, get rid of Bryce because you never know who can go down, and he's a guy, again, that can play on the outside. So I know that there's a lot of discussion because he had a bad preseason game, but it was just one preseason game. We saw him shine last season, especially, again, going forward, he's going to continue to have his chances. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to cut you off, but he's definitely, going to have his chances. You're right on the money with that. But I honestly, I don't know, man. I don't think we actually won the preseason games, even though we did, because we were getting spanked, on the first quote-unquote first teams and everything like that. So, but I like the fight and all the other dudes that we have. But, it's I don't know. I'm sort of happy in a way that we are getting slapped around because now the guys got to look at themselves and really evaluate themselves. It's one thing when you do good in the preseason, but when it's like, you're getting ragdolled in certain types of things. Guys are blowing right past you. You can't make the snap counts correctly. And then, too, you're only using, like, one type of defense in a way. That's on Ulbrich, and he's not switching it up. I don't know, man. Like, he's a strange fish, That cat is weird. But I don't know why he doesn't, like, if it's not working, why do you keep the same defense in? You know what I mean? The same format, same type. That was crushing to me in a way, too. But I hope, preseason for coaches, too.
Yeah, that's what surprised me as well. When you watch this team, I mean, you look around and guys are just running wide open in the secondary. And, I understand it's preseason. But this is what we saw in the first game, too. Guys just running around wide open. I mean, did that surprise you as well, Rusty?
Yeah, that shocked me. I didn't see that coming again. I thought we were getting that riffraff out of our, just wasn't going to be us. And I hope it's not us, because good teams do play terrible in preseason. But, I don't know. We just got to get it together and all get on the same page type of deal. And that's including the coaches, too, man. Because there's something, I don't know, like, good, keep LaFleur, he's good, he's wants to stay in his crow's nest. Get him off the field. That's the one dude you don't want on there. Thank God, I figured that out. But, I don't know, as far as those other guys, they got to get on the same page, man. It's killing me. Yeah. It ain't easy being green, we know this.
Yeah, it's not. So when you look at the situation, because we're talking about guys that really, should step up or need to step up, a lot of Jets fans are starting to really get on Mike White. There's a lot of them, especially with the way that Streveler has looked these past two games. Now, again, going forward, we'll see what they do in the Giants game. Again, we've seen, Sulla talking about how one day he wants to start, the starter guys and get him out there. The next day he doesn't want to play, so we'll see what happens going forward. Hopefully we see more starters in this next upcoming game. But if we don't, should Streveler be given time earlier in the game just to kind of see what he has? Because this is a guy that a lot of fans are saying should end up being the New York Jets' number 3 quarterback. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, I do. That kid is awesome. Like, he tries, man. He's like what Tebow tried to be. Yeah, like, he's like the evil, like, you know how you have Mario and Wario? He's like the Wario version of Tebow. That's how I picture him. Because he's got the same number, he plays similar, but he can actually throw. He's got tattoos. He won the Winnipeg Cup or whatever it was. He's, sort of got like that fluty Warren Moon in him. And it's and Kurt Warner. Geez, I can't believe I almost forgot that guy. Good God. And so who knows? I want to see him start against the Giants. Because I don't even think is Flacco even starting against the Giants? I don't think so, right?
I don't know. I don't personally think they'll do that because that's why they held Flacco out in this game. It's looking again like he probably is going to be the starter going into the season because of the injury to Zach Wilson. But so if we keep true to what Sulla has done so far, again, he could change that. But if we keep true to it, then it's probably just going to be Mike White and Streveler. And if we're talking about the way the Streveler's looked, again, he's done that against the 3rd, 4th string guys. Can Streveler do this against maybe the 1s, 2s, or the late 1s, maybe 2s that the Giants may throw out there?
Yeah, the mixtures.
Yeah, I want to see. If because
I'm waiting.
I want to see this guy, in under better competition, see if he can continue to give us that spark. Because not only is he doing things with his arm, right? He's throwing the ball, pretty well. he's moving with his feet too. This guy had 33 yards.
He's doing comebacks.
Take off. Yeah, he is. And that opens the playbook.
He already has back-to-back comeback victories, you know?
Man.
It's crazy, man. It's weird.
Yeah, and it opens up the playbook because now you can run, options with this guy because he can move. It really can confuse the defense. So
the team's alive. You see the guys reacting differently. It's, it's visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him, man. White can,
I wonder what he can do going forward. I wonder what he can do going forward, man, for real. But I tell you what, this wide receiver competition continues to heat up, especially, again, we saw Streveler connect with Lawrence Cager for a touchdown, a really solid touchdown run at 65 yards in a TD. What do you make of this wide receiver scrum at this point, man? Is Cager a guy, or not wide receiver scrum, the scrum there, at tight end, is Cager a guy that you could see beating out Wesco and getting a spot?
It's an awesome problem, dude. It really is. I think, yeah. I mean, I like West Coast. I like Wesco because he's a good blocker. He doesn't have the best hands. He did pretty good in West Virginia. But, dude, Cager, wow. Jeez. That's freaking
he
awesome.
Looks good.
Yeah, man. And I think if there's going to be anybody to get cut out of the quote-unquote, tight ends, I think it's probably going to be Wesco. I mean, you'd have to in a way, Yeah. I think you would because Yabo is going to chill out. He's going to be around. Cager. And then you have Rucker and you have Conklin and Uzma. Oh, God, it's been a long day. Uzama. There it is. Thank you, Joe.
So how many tight ends do you think the New York Jets will keep?
Jeez, I just named 5, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Good God. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How many?
You'd have to throw one of those dudes on the practice squad, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know
if they can go in. I don't know. I think honestly,
I don't either.
I think the Jets may keep at the most. They'll keep 4 again with Uzama, Conklin, Rucker, who clearly is going to make it. We just drafted him. But if anybody's going to go, it's probably going to be Wesco to keep Cager, and that's if Cager stays a tight end. Again, they can, switch his designation, which might actually be what they do, because when you look at this wide receiver position, things are shaking out rough there too. And I got some questions for you on that as well. But you look at this wide receiver position, after the top 4, there's spots available. I want to know, how many wide receivers do you think the Jets keep? Do you think they keep 6?
Damn math that knows numbers to make 53. Oh God! What do you do? I don't know, man. Honestly, what do you do?
Yeah.
You have 5 tight ends, 4, 3, 5 running backs, 7 to 5 wide receivers. Or I think you'd have to, because it's 17 games, I think you'd have to keep 7 wide receivers to where that's probably where Cager's going to get in, because they can quote unquote flip him as a wide receiver tight end type of deal to where, you can get less is more to where you get a 2-for-1 special basically. Yeah, it's gonna I don't know, man. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. What do you do?
It's gonna be really interesting to see how they handle the situation, because again, wide receiver, typically you'll keep about 6 wide receivers. So again, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Braxton Berrios. After that, there's some question marks. Jeff Smith is a guy that's looked really, really good, right? Do you want to move on from him? Then you got Denzel Mims, who Denzel Mims has looked solid. He's looked solid. He did some good things last week. Well, there's been question marks about him, and there's been guys on his back. Tariq Black has looked good too. I know he was dealing with the injury. I don't know what type. It was some type of head injury, maybe something like that was going on with him. Again, details are still coming forward about that. But I'll tell you what, Tariq Black has looked good. Calvin Johnson Jr. has looked good. We've seen Irvin Charles as well put in some work. And again, there's so many guys there. So if they keep 6, you're going to end up, getting rid of a couple guys to keep only 2 out of that list. And to me, I think Jeff Smith is a guy that ends up making it. And I think that Mims has done enough. I think he's done enough.
I think so too, But then that's 7 right there, and then what do you do about Cager and then everybody else? Dude, it's going to be it sucks. It's going to be broken hearts for cut day on us fans for sure. I might be one of them. I probably will.
It is. You could keep Cager as a tight end, though. You could do that. You could keep Cager as a tight end, keep 4 tight ends. That'd probably just give you 3 running backs at the most, right? So you're probably getting rid of Knight, which is going to be a tough cut. Then, you got to make cuts everywhere else. So it's rough, man, but this is a good problem to have when you have so much bubbling talent that you're just excited about keeping these guys on the roster. You know what I'm saying?
It really is. And I like P. Ryan more than I do Coleman. But I don't know. I know the Jets don't.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a P. Ryan guy. Yeah, I like P. Ryan.
Wow.
I do. There's something about him. He's definitely going to get released from us and just, I don't know. He'll probably do like he'll be a good secondary or third type of running back to hit people. You know what I mean? Like in bad weather games type of deal, or when everyone's exhausted. I don't know. There's something about him, man. He's pretty. He what does he average? He averages basically like 4.3 to 5.1 yards a carry. Every time he touches it, he's always going forward. You never see him in the backfield. He had 1 touch in the preseason, I think, last game, and he got a touchdown. Now we had good blocking on that, but still, he saw it and didn't get. I don't know. I'm a P. Ryan guy, and I'm not a fan of the Gators either. I hate them actually, but
I mean,
that's
he's looked good, man. Listen, he's looked good. So my final question before I let you go, Rusty. Look, man, Michael Clemens, to me, has really looked great. Give me your thoughts about him. Have you been impressed with some of the things that he's been able to do on the field?
Yeah, I love that guy, man. He's just like the kind of dude that you just don't want to meet, but you do. You know what I mean? Like, he's that, if there was like the video game for like the mercenary or just the type of guy like No Country for Old Men, the guy who walks around with the shotgun and just doesn't say anything, but he's just all about business. That's like Clemens, but I just love how his attitude is. It really is. Like, because when you ask him questions, he takes it in, fully digests it, and then he talks, and he talks real, and he's always go on the field. I like that. I want to see how he does against, the ones, of course, and everything like that. But, I mean, when you sprinkle in, Baby Huey in there, and you have Watson, and you have everybody else, and you start throwing them in there, he's going to do I think he's going to do some damage and then some. He might be like that type of Harrison type of guy, like James Harrison, because he doesn't even have an NFL body yet. He still has a college body. Like, it doesn't matter that he's 25. He's still going to put on that NFL. So I'm glad that guy is on our side. He literally reminds me of like just a bull chilling on his own hill, and it's like, yeah, go ahead, jump into the pen. You're so screwed. That's how he reminds. I like that guy. That was a solid pick for us. That really was. That was a good. I hope he really works out, man, because his attitude and the way he brings it, and I hope it does.
So what position group battle are you looking forward to seeing or watching the most, with the Giants? Is there a guy that you're looking at that you're thinking, hey, you have to have a solid game in this upcoming preseason game to really, put the stamp and cement yourself on the roster?
Probably in the running back department. Either or, like just a gauntlet of dudes. And that's a tough one, too, because it's probably like a 3-headed monster in a way, and it's all on offense for me. It would probably be like, the tight ends, the wide receivers, and the running backs. Because we're going to have to find out. And then maybe sprinkle in some Shaver in there, too, Streveler.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow's evil twin or cousin. It's great. I like that guy. Well, I really like him. I hope he starts against the Giants.
Yeah,
like
we're going to see what's going on. Again, we'll see how Saleh handles the situation. But I'll tell you what, there are some guys that have really been fighting hard and performing well. But listen, Rusty, I want to thank you for calling in tonight, man. You have yourself a good night, all right?
You too, Joe, and salutes to the Savages. Have a great one, guys.
You have a good one. Listen, Rusty calling in. We're continuing on with the lines again, 515-602-9639, 602-9639 is the number. Call in. Please give the stream a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like to give. The super chats there. The Cash App is at the bottom of the screen if you want to give that way. Anything you give to the stream is greatly appreciated. Next, we're going to my guy, Tim. Tim, we're coming directly to you. Salute to you, Tim.
Yo.
Thank you for calling tonight. Tim, what is going on, my man? Listen, we are talking Jets tonight. We are talking about it all. Give me your thoughts about the performance of the New York Jets in this preseason game against the Falcons. Were you surprised at how many guys were running wide open in the secondary early?
Yeah, I was. As a matter of fact, first of all, how you doing? You doing well?
I'm doing great, man.
Good. It's been a while since I talked to you. Shout out to all the people in the chat. I talked to Rich Eisen this morning on his show, and he wasn't trying to elaborate on the Jets preseason as much as I was looking for. So I'm going to give you an opportunity that Rich Eisen lost on me this morning. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right. So I got it. So
Go
my take on that preseason game is as follows, right? Obviously, so whenever you're trying to analyze the situation, you want to look at it and you want to say, okay, let's talk about all those factors we already know about going in. And that's what I try to do. So going into a game like this, I'm already thinking about things like, all right, it's not your typical game. You know, they had a game plan for Zach Wilson in the preseason that kind of went to smoke, and they had to kind of, get back to with Joe Flacco and rehash a little bit. So I think a lot of people going in were like, okay, Joe Flacco, veteran, we should see some nice, crisp, sharp passing. We should see some super hardcore defense early on because those are our starters. And then it kind of turned into this situation, and this is what I asked Rich. I was like, what's your take on the first half Jets versus the second half Jets in Atlanta Falcons? And he actually admitted he didn't watch the second half. So I was like, I was kind of, I was up a creek there because I couldn't really get a good answer, but I was hoping maybe you had some thoughts on that, because you know how as Jets fans we always say to ourselves, like, they always start slow. They never come out and, like, it's very rare that they come out and they walk down the field and score a touchdown on their first possession. And that's kind of plagued us over the years. And I was a little bit scared watching that first half because I'm thinking, okay, I know they have a lot of adversity, but is part of this like what we're used to seeing, where they kind of have to get themselves up to play in a deficit, and then all of a sudden in the second half? Like, why is Streveler performing better than our starters? That's what, you know what I mean? It's like, should we be scared?
Yeah. No. So here's the thing, Tim, and I hear what you're saying, but I think, like you said earlier, I think we have to keep in mind of what type of game this is, right? This is a preseason game. So at the same time, Streveler did come in and provide a spark, but I think the biggest question with Streveler is the level of competition that he's playing against, right? So we got to wonder, again, Streveler's playing against third-string, fourth-string guys. That's why I want to see him earlier in games, because I want to see if he can do this, provide this same spark and play just as well against, maybe the late first string, second string, and then third string.
Sure.
That's why I want to see him get more time. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Now, playing at a deficit, right, is not like it wasn't our thing. We were just playing really bad. And I think that was very apparent. that was very apparent. When you look at how the Falcons were out there, they seemed to have a sense of urgency. There seemed to be guys out there that was like, they knew, listen, my spot is on the line. I'm going to be held accountable. If I don't get to where I need to go, if I don't make this play, I could be gone. And Arthur Smith, they kept panning the camera to him. It wasn't like it was like some regular. No, Arthur Smith was out there coaching like it was serious business. Like, he wants them done a certain way, and he wants them done a certain way now. So when Riddler made a mistake, he was yelling. When their offense was making, boneheaded penalties and stuff like that and costing themselves on drives, stalling a lot of their offensive drives due to the bonehead penalties, Arthur Smith ripped into those guys when they came. I think they had a holding call that killed one of their drives coming down offensively. And when they came to the sidelines, he was cursing at people, telling them to get their, again, we don't curse on the show, get your butts sit your butts down because I'm going to let you know about what you just did, you know. And he was letting guys have it. When guys weren't making reads, when things wasn't happening, there just seemed like to be a sense of urgency and much a sense of seriousness. And, again, I love Robert Saleh. I love this coaching staff. But it seemed like on the Jets side, it really wasn't. It was just everything was kind of dead. Everything was lackadaisical. We saw guys getting heavily penalized, right? We saw the team heavily penalized, 11 penalties for 104 yards. There was a lot of bonehead mistakes. And, again, this is just preseason. I want to be very clear when I say that. I'm not saying anything about coach or nothing.
Right.
I'm just saying it was clear as day that there was a difference in, I don't know, seriousness about the game or something. You know, to me, it just seemed like a clear difference.
That's how I felt too.
Right?
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I came away feeling a certain way after I watched that game, and it was like it was bittersweet because obviously, it was nice to see that the third and fourth string guys can come in and be scrappy. I understand they're not playing against the best people, but still, like they come and they play as a team, and they've actually kind of won the game for us these past two preseason games. And, one thing that comes to mind when you were talking about the difference between Atlanta and the Jets and how they looked is one word that popped into my head was identity. I felt like when Atlanta took the field with their starters, they had a very cohesive identity. They seemed to all know exactly what they were doing. They even seemed to be able to read one another a little bit between Kyle Pitts and Mariota on that deep ball. And I just got no sense of that when I'm looking at the Jets. Now, obviously, you say, okay, they're in a rebuild. There's a lot of young players. They have to gel. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of an excuse that is anymore.
Yeah, Tim, I hear you. But you have to keep in mind that we didn't play a lot of our starters at all. You know, so there, again, a lot of things are shaking out. Look, and, again, that's why I say, look, there are some things that I'm very disappointed in, right? Because we did have some guys out there that were competing for starting spots, particularly on defense. I understand we didn't have our starters, but guys running around wide open in our secondary, that shouldn't happen. Watching Bryce Hall, a guy who's competing for a starting spot, really have a rough game, bothered me.
Yeah, I felt bad for him.
He'll bounce back from that. But, there are some things that can shake out a little bit differently. But, again, when you look at particularly our offense, I want to ask you because there are some guys out there that were making plays that have been very impressive. One of those guys is Lawrence Cager. What are your thoughts about him, and do you think that he makes the squad as a tight end? Do you think he'll be able to make the roster this year?
I would have to suspect that there must be some kind of glaring downside to his game. Unless is he young? Is he young, Joe? Is he a rookie?
Mean, he's fairly young. Yeah, he's not a rookie, but he's fairly young. He's been here, but I think the big thing that's been a hurdle for him in the past is health. He's definitely been hurt quite a bit with his costing him. But I'm telling you, this guy is used to be a wide receiver. They switched to tight end. Dude, he looks like he can really be a weapon here for real. Like he's a big guy.
Real good. Yeah, he looked real good yesterday. I wasn't familiar. I wasn't familiar with him, Joe, but I did see the catches that he made yesterday. A couple first downs. He looked fast. He looked good with his hands, and he looked sharp on his routes. But again, I didn't know that he wasn't a rookie. I thought he was a rookie because I hadn't heard of him. If he actually has only been sidelined because of health issues, then I would have to tend to agree with you there that he actually looked like he could be a real contributor to the offense as long as he stays healthy. So I'm not sure why he wouldn't move up the depth chart. I mean, because Ruckert is ahead of him on the depth chart, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, we got Conklin, Uzama, we got Ruckert, and now, again, Cager is a tight end. Wesco did not look very good. So with Cager doing his thing, again, the guy that's been here, he's been on the practice squad before. Kind of been around. He's still a guy that is relatively young. He can do his thing here. I'm just really impressed by him. Some of the things that he's done this offseason, especially again.
You think they're going to keep? You think they're going to keep three? You think they're going to keep four tight ends on the roster? Conklin, Uzama, Ruckert.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility again with Uzama, Conklin, Ruckert, and the way that Cager is still putting things together. This is a guy again that still is a young guy. He can put some stuff together and really make it happen. And if not, maybe they flip him, and I talked about this earlier, flip him back to being a wide receiver. Maybe they change his designation again, and flip him back to being a wide receiver. and maybe slide him into that wide receiver spot. And that's my next and final question for you, Tim, because you've been bringing it. When you look at this wide receiver position, Mims is competing. He's looked good. We got Tariq Black out there. He's looking solid. We're seeing stuff from Jeff Smith. If the Jets keep 6 wide receivers, right? So, of course, the top 4 spots are going to be taken with Davis and Braxton Berrios and Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. Those last 2 roster spots, who would you give them to at this point?
That is a great question. So, all right. So starters are going to be Berrios, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, and who's the other one?
Corey Davis. Corey Davis. Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Braxton Berrios. 2 spots.
I don't know
who are you giving them?
Because we do have, like you said, those 2 other guys who aren't as well known that have been balling a little bit. But then you got Mims. I don't know what to say about Mims. Like, I can't tell if they're trying to do, like, a PR thing for him in preseason where they're just giving him a bunch of looks and, like, trying to make him look real good so they can deal him, like, directly after the roster cuts or whatever. Because I don't know, man. I can't see if they're going to keep anybody. It's got to be Mims, and I think they dropped those other 2 guys that you mentioned.
Okay. So if you give Mims, if we keep 6, you got 4. With Mims, that's 5. Who else are you giving the last spot to?
Who are the names? Give me the names.
Jeff Smith is left, Tariq Black is left, and Calvin Johnson Jr. is left, along with Irvin Charles.
Oh, my God. I know nothing about any of them, so I'm going to go with Megatron Jr.
Okay, Tim, listen, Calvin, all right, you took Calvin Johnson and I respect that. Listen, Tim, I want to thank you for calling in, man. You called in and you brought some fire to it. I'm not going to lie.
Jesus is a fire.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you
Good
brought some fire
to
the call. I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, man.
You too. I'll be listening. Take care, everybody.
Absolutely. Peace out. Listen, Tim called in. He gave us what he had, man. He gave us what he had. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Next, I'm going to my guy from North Carolina. You already know what time it is, man. Salutes to you, my friend. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. How are you feeling, man?
How you doing, Joe?
I'm all right, man. Listen, we're sitting here talking Jets. We're talking this last preseason game. I just, been discussing this with a couple of the last callers, man. Were you surprised at how just kind of lethargic and lackadaisical the Jets kind of came out and played in the first half?
Let me tell you, it's rare I get a chance to check out the Jets because, my airport schedule doesn't allow it when they're playing on Sundays at 1 o'clock. But it's rare. I got a chance to check them out on ESPN. I was horrified at the pass defense. Bryce Hall didn't look good at all, man. I don't know. He regressed a little bit. I'm a little worried about him because, since he's been with us, he's usually held his own and made some pass defenses. He just didn't rack up a lot of interceptions. But he was able to be in good position and look a lot more solid this time around. I don't know. He didn't look very good at all. I'm not used to seeing the Jet defense play this poorly. Even though they did make the adjustment in the second half, shut them down, but they're going to have to get it together. I'm a little worried about our defensive coordinator and what he's doing. I like what we're doing on the front side, being aggressive, coming off the ball, rushing forward, which is what I've been wanting the Jets to do for the last several decades, is make that switch, back to the 4-3. That's part of their tradition. New York Stock Exchange, and they've finally done that. But on that backside, it's a little soft. Outside of Sauce Gardner and our safety we acquired in free agency. We got some pieces back there. So we have to see what happens this next preseason game. Hopefully they'll play a lot better. I'm really really scared about the matchup in week 1 because we know how good Baltimore is, and we're going to have to really have it together.
Yeah, listen, I was shocked as well when I watched guys running around wide open in our secondary. And again, it wasn't like, again, Pitts, yes, he beat, Bryce Hall clean, right? But then you had guys like Ferkser running around for a 39-yard game just by itself. They had another tight end, I don't remember his name, but number 85. This guy was not a burner, nothing. He was slow as dirt, and he was running around in our secondary by itself. I was like, what is this Christmas? Because we're giving everybody a gift. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was like,
you're not
so
kidding.
many guys
Wow.
running around. I couldn't understand it. And again, like you said, Bryce Hall was having a bad game, but it was like, what is going on over here? Like, guys are just getting destroyed and, just running around. And it's concerning because, look, and I'm going to keep preferences, that with this is I understand we didn't play a lot of our starters. I get that. But this is the same thing that we saw in the first preseason game where guys were running around wide open in our secondary, and everybody was looking around like, hey, what the heck is going on? And there was quite a bit of starters out there. I believe if we played Atlanta for real, Sauce Gardner would be on Kyle Pitts. You know that, right?
Yeah. Sauce Gardner would be lined up on Pitts to try to neutralize him, and then it'd be up to our other corners to try to contain their other wide receivers. If it was for real, you know that. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we gotta get it together because boy, I didn't like what I saw there. Now, as we continued on, though, there were some guys that made some great plays, especially a guy like Jonathan Marshall, who really showed up and showed out. Michael Clemens looked good, too. Give me your thoughts on those two guys, man. How are you feeling about some of the things that we've seen from them, some of the production we've seen from them just in preseason?
In the case of Jonathan Marshall, it probably took him another preseason game to kind of get it in gear. I know he showed out well last year under Williams, our other defensive coordinator. He looked very impressive in last year's preseason. If you remember, I think he had a safety. Did he have a safety last year in preseason? Something like that. I know he showed out. He looked very impressive. That's right. And Clemens, Clemens basically is not your typical rookie. He's really a man really coming out as a rookie in a rookie campaign. This is really a grown man. Let's not get it twisted. Michael Clemens is not your typical rookie. He looks like a man. He has the strength in him of a more developed prospect that's been in the league 3 or 4 years and had the opportunity, to build the strength, to that level that you expect someone who's been in the league a little bit longer. Clemens just needs technique refinement, and I think if they can refine his technique a little bit, he has a chance to really be special, really be good. And that might push Jermaine Johnson back a little bit, but I know his time is coming. He's going to get his share of snaps when the time comes,
Yeah. I mean, look, listen, Michael Clemens, he's been very impressive so far. I think he's a guy that's definitely going to be within the rotation, just going to be an absolute monster. When he gets his snaps, he's been making some impact. And even if he's not, getting sacks, right, he's not getting enough, the pressures, the hurries that we're seeing from him is huge as well. He's getting guys off of their spots. And like you said, you can tell in the press conferences, dude, he is such a focused individual. That's what I call a focused individual. He is. He's very straight to the point, and you can tell he's very, very professional. He wants to go out there and make sure that he does what he needs to do effectively. And Jonathan Marshall, who had 2 back-to-back big plays yesterday, this guy, that does nothing but bode well for the New York Jets defensive line rotation as well. Because, again, we had a lot of issues last season. You know what I'm saying? Guys running on us. We couldn't get to the passer. Well, so many pieces added now. Things are different. So things are really looking up for the Jets. At least their front is looking a lot better than it did last season. Secondary still needs to flesh some things out, but hopefully, things go. But when we go over to the offensive side of the ball, listen, Mike White, kind of up and down last night, a little erratic. We saw Streveler come in and play well, though. Give me your thoughts about this. I got a lot of Jets fans saying that the Jets should just cut Mike White, make Streveler our third-string quarterback. Do you agree with them?
I think Streveler, the way he looked to me last night, he looks like a candidate to be our third quarterback, honestly. Mike White will probably wind up being a trade candidate. That word, that talk had been floating out there for months about the possibility of trading Mike White. I could see that happening because Streveler is going to make it very, very difficult for them to turn him loose. It's going to be very difficult to let this guy go. He has the tools where he's like a knockoff of Zach Wilson. He can move, he can scramble. It's exciting watching him play. His mold, his style of play suits us in the type of West Coast we're trying to run, a quarterback that can be efficient, at the same time has the ability to break off the runs, read option. You can do bootlegs. You can do different things because he's mobile. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a more viable long-term backup. He's young, and he could be with us for quite a while as our backup,
So you're ready to move forward with him as well and make him our third-string quarterback, too. There's a lot of people that I've gone back and forth with, and they've been like, listen, Joe, it is time to move on from Mike White. This guy Streveler is showing us something. He is extremely impressive. I will. I want to see him get time against, the earlier guys, the greater competition, to truly see, is this for real or is this a mirage? Is this something that he can only do against the third-string, fourth-string guys, or is he serious? You know what I mean? I'm right to think that, though, right? I'm right to think that, though, right?
You're right. You're correct. He still has a few tests to go. And there's a lot of going on probably behind the scenes and practices that we don't have privy to, the inside look at this team, that the scouts and probably Joe Douglas, the general manager and the head coach and OC have probably seen an even longer extended look at him. We've just seen a little glimpse, just some preseason looks. But I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up being our third quarterback. I'd be pretty pleased because I like the elements that he brings, his mobility, just his moxie, the way he plays the game. You know what I'm saying? With such energy and enthusiasm and mobility, that's really exciting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. Now, another thing that's been really exciting to watch as well is this wide receiver competition here, man. Do you think Mims has done enough at this point to warrant him winning a roster position here?
It's close. It feels close. It's close. I'm not sure. It's going to be close. The final cut down date's coming. It's going to be close. Because I think if it comes down to him and a cat like Lawrence Cager, you have to go with Lawrence Cager,
Oh, wow.
Because because of the versatility, Because he's been a wide receiver.
Are you flipping? Are you flipping Cager back to wide receiver? Because there's been a lot of talk about that. A lot of people saying, listen, flip him back to wide receiver, keep 3 tight ends, right, with Uzama, Conklin, and Rucker. So is that what you're doing? And then who else are you taking? If the Jets only keep 6 wide receivers and you want to keep Cager, who else are you taking for that last spot?
See, the thing about Cager, because he's versatile, they can do both. He can serve in a dual role, both tight end and wide receiver. Because he's been a wide receiver, he's taken a lot of snaps as wide receiver, and he appears to be making a successful transition to tight end. That would be an interesting chess piece for LaFleur to use, especially week 1 in matchups against the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Lawrence Cager could be a very important weapon against them. Let's say they run 2-3 wide receiver sets. You got two tight ends in the set, and maybe one is down, the 3-point stance, motioning out. That could be Cager. And that could create different kind of matchup problems,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. It's really interesting just to see how this is going to match up, man. Outside of, Mims and Cater, what are your thoughts about the other guys? Because Tariq Black, Calvin Johnson Jr., Jeff Smith, could you see those guys grabbing a roster spot at this point?
Oh, yeah. I think they've done enough. To possibly make the roster. Now, I don't know what options the Jets have in terms of putting people on the practice squad. And how does the system work in terms of claiming players or getting players off practice squad? I don't know how that system works because sometimes the team will try to tuck players away and then a team will go in there and claim those players or sweep them out there. I'm not quite sure. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, guys
so that's
get
an
grabbed
option as
all
well.
the time. Yeah, the rules have changed. I remember guys were getting stashed before. McCown, I remember, got stashed one time on a practice squad, and I was like, "What? These rules don't make any sense. He's not supposed to be able to, but he did. It's weird. So the rules are all over the place. But it's going to be interesting to see who they're going to be able to stash, man, if they have to cut a guy again. Because if you look at our running back position, Knight is also a guy that a lot of people are talking about. But it's like, do the Jets keep 4 running backs, and if they don't, he could be a candidate for a guy that we can end up stashing on the practice squad. So, listen, man, this has been a phenomenal call. Before I let you go, give me a name of a guy or maybe a couple guys that you're going to be looking at in this next upcoming game to really have a solid game so that they can push to really make a roster spot here.
I would probably have to say our backup quarterback, Wheeler, probably. I think he has to be high on my list. And Lawrence Cager. It's going to be some people that are on the fence, definitely. I know Mims is on the list. Hoff is on the list. And the defensive end we drafted from Florida, you know what I'm talking about. He's on Zuniga as well. He's trying to get it together. And he's trying to make that final push, to make the roster. So that's a couple of names in there you can say to keep an eye on, definitely, to see if they can make that final roster cut. If we can salvage those guys and have them look good and flash some of that potential as the reason we drafted them, that's good for the Jets and it's good for our overall depth chart,
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Listen, I got to slide off, my friend. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. You had a phenomenal call. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
You too now. You take care.
All right. You have a good one. Listen, my guy from North Carolina calls in, and he knows exactly what he's talking about. He's a real Jets fan. Always love talking to him. So we're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all call-ins. We also slid a poll into the chat, man. All the savages. I want to know, do you think Mike White should be our third-string quarterback? I want to know. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Keep on answering. We'll close the poll in just a second. Next, I'm going to my guy, Dele85. Listen, for those of you that don't know, Dele? Yeah. 85 is a savage, man. Come on, man. Relax, everybody. Relax, dog. You know what I'm saying? Relax, bro. Listen, salute to you. I want to thank you for coming on in here, calling in tonight. We talking Jets, Falcons, man. Give me your thoughts about this game, man. We came out and looked horrific.
Early, looked flat, man.
Yeah, give me your thoughts about the flat start.
We looked very, very flat. And like you said earlier in the show, I'm starting to get a little bit concerned because Salah was brought on the precipice that he was, is predicated on his defense. So the fact that we've seen all the secondary looking real soft and people running wide open, and I get it that it's a preseason game, but that doesn't bode well for us. Because, this is what I thought your bread and butter. If anything else was trash or was subpar, I knew the defense was still going to be a bright spot. And, early on in the preseason, I know it's only preseason, it's not looking like that. And it's really giving me room for concern, man, and room for pause. Because it's like, bro, when Rex was here, that was one thing we could always hang our hat on. No matter what or how trash the offense was, we knew Rex was not going to let us get embarrassed on defense. And we could always hang our hat on that. Like, all right, as long as we keep us in the game, we get a couple of bounces here or, a fumble here or there, we might be able to steal that game. So that's how we used to always, as long as we have a good defense, just to keep us in the game, and then the offense would overachieve and do, what they were supposed to do or supersede what they were supposed to do for the expectations, and we would be fine. But if our calling card, our bread and butter, isn't formidable, it isn't stout, it isn't on par with what we are used to seeing, expecting to see, that's not good, bro. You can't have both sides of the ball being trash. Because if both sides are trash, you might not have a head coaching job very long. You know what I'm saying? They're going to throw you under the bus. The GM is going to say, hey, I don't know, I got all these draft picks, did this. It is. And he's going to be right. Because we done gave Joe all the credit, Joe Douglas all the credit. Oh, we got Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Garner, Bryce Hall, you know what I'm saying, and Garrett Wilson. Now it's up to the coach. Now it's up to you. You got to coach. You got to mold these players into professional players because that's what they expect from you, the coach. If I can't perform, that's not on me. That's on the coaching. And this is what I used to say back in the days when everybody was talking about men's. That's not an indictment on men. That's an indictment on the coach because you can't see what he's struggling with and you can't make the necessary adjustments. That's not on men. He can only do as much as what you teach him to do. And then when you're getting him to try to learn different positions instead of concentrating on what he does well, it's room for disaster. I'm telling you. I said that from the beginning. Everybody was like, "Oh no, he gotta do other stuff in other roles." That's just a cop out, in my opinion. Rex knew somebody was good at this position. He's not going to put a guy that's good at the square in the square hole, and in the square position, the square situation, and put him in the circle hole, in the circle position. He's good to be in the square, just like that guy's good to be in the circle. I'm not going to ask the guy who's great at being in the circle, oh, now I want you to become a square and excel at being a square. I'm a circle.
Well, here's the thing. Don't listen. And I hear you, D. I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, like they want to make sure, just to speaking with about Mims, they want to make sure that he understands or understood at the time the reason why they were sending him out. You know, according to them, and they came out and said this, that he didn't understand where he needed to be within the playbook. You know, he didn't understand all the roles. They want to throw him out there. But there was a lot of people that echoed the same sentiments that you said, and I get it. If he's a weapon, if you can utilize him, you put him out there. But that's just not the way this coaching staff works, and I understand that. But, again, I understand your take there, D. But I'll tell you what, it was, and, again, we did not play all our starters. I want to say that, but it was very concerning. That is true. It was very concerning to see guys running around wide open in the secondary.
Wide open.
We saw that in the first game too, D. We saw that in the first game where guys were running around wide open, and there were starters that were out there. Of course, we didn't play all of our starters in that game either, but there were starters that were out there, and guys were just – so I don't know if it's miscommunication. I don't know what it is, but they need to clean that up. Now, D, I want to ask you this, man. When you look at Bryce Hall in this game, do you think that this game has cost him his competition for that number one cornerback spot? Do you think it's costing him, man?
I mean, it is Kyle Pitts, though. You understand? It's not like it was just some Wrangler, ranky-dink player. Kyle Pitts is actually
It wasn't just Pitts, though, D. It wasn't just, look, I love Bryce Hall. Everyone knows that. It wasn't just Pitts that cooked him. He got beat for a touchdown. Then he got beat again on a play. Wow. And he got beat for a touchdown. Then he got beat again where he grabbed the guy and held him, got the flag, and the guy still caught the football.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It wasn't a good night.
Yeah,
it wasn't a good night.
You got to put the mittens on.
So do you think that this steals, that he doesn't get the number one cornerback spot?
I don't think he was going to get it regardless because they drafted Sauce. So now my only thing is he could have possibly played the second cornerback spot because I know DJ Reid is a slot. Oh, no, DJ Reid's going to be in the outside. He's not going to be the slot.
Yeah, No, there's a lot of talk about DJ Reid being that number two guy kind of cemented. Again, DJ Reid has been dealing with, I think it was a hamstring injury, and he's been trying to rehab, get back But according to, reports, it's looking like DJ Reid is pretty much locked up that number two spot. If not, then they can slide him into the slot spot as well because he plays that too. So we'll see how things kind of shake out. But we've been talking about Bryce Hall really competing for that number one spot, and it just seems like last night all the air was taken out of that.
All the air was out. It was out with that one. Outside of DJ Reid, I don't see the other corners, Isaiah Dunn, Javin Guidry, and all these other guys. So I still think there's hope for Hall to make the roster. He might not be a starter.
Well, no, he's not going to he's going to make the roster for sure.
Yeah, he's going to make the roster, but as far as the starting slot, and honestly, I thought the starting three was going to be Sauce, Hall, and Reid in the slot. But then people tell me, no, Reid isn't short, that he's a 6'1", or he's an outside corner. But for my eyes, I'm like, he looks like he's more suited on the inside because of Bryce Hall's height. Because I like my corners to be 6 feet and above. I want like the Cromartie types. Lanky, you know what I'm saying? Revis, well, not Revis, the Cromartie, Richard Sherman, those types who can get the 50-50 balls and defend. Even if they don't get the interception, they could get the pass breakup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of the height.
Reid is definitely a guy, that can play on the inside, like you were saying. We seen that in the past with him before, but, it's just a tough game from Hall, man. I'm looking to see him bounce back. So my final question for you, D, because you've been bringing the heat, man, is when we got this upcoming game against the Giants, who are you looking at in that game? What guy are you looking at right now saying, hey, you better have a solid game against those Giants or you could be packing your bags and getting up out of here?
It's going to have to be either Mims or Bryce Hall, like the caller from North Carolina said. I think those two, because everybody else, it's basically people already set in there. I ain't gonna say they're locks to make the team, But I just think the only one that we really have, some doubt about is obviously the wide receiver spot. The tight end spot is Kenny Yeboah. I still have high hopes for him as well because that's him on the practice squad because, Uzoma and Conklin are going to be the top two. Cager and Rucker are probably going to be the backups. You know what I mean? So we probably keep 5, but that might be a stretch depending on how Cager looks. If Cager's looking real, real good, like you said, you might mess around and take one of the wide receiver spots. You might flip him back to wide receiver. Hey, well, this guy isn't really, bringing up the snuff of putting it all out there for us at wide receiver. We'll let him go. Let him try to sign on with a different team, move you to wide receiver, and then you can bring him an extra tight end. Because you're going to have to block. And I like that Chris Streveler guy. Bro, I don't know, Joe. I like Mike White.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Mike Esther White game last year. But this Chris Streveler guy, and like the caller said, he's like a poor man Zach. This is what I envision when everybody was telling me, Zach is mobile. And another reason why I wanted Justin Fields, because of that mobility. The defense has to guess what is he going to do next. Oh, my God, he's a pocket quarterback, so he's not going anywhere. But if you're mobile, they got to study it. They got to prepare for you running and passing. And I used to say that's an extra thing for them to think about. And people are like, no, we need a pocket QB. We need something. I'm like, what's wrong with the mobile guy? And not saying that, okay, just because you have a mobile guy, don't build the offensive line because you want to have the embarrassment of riches. Have a stout offensive line, and you have a mobile quarterback that can evade if the line breaks down. That's a win-win. But people were like, nah, we want to go out. So when we got Zach, I'm like, all right, I see the film on BYU. He's running around. I'm envisioning that too. And then past 2 years, he got hurt, and then he hurt the same knee again on a non-contact injury. I'm like, people were saying that he was frail in college and that he had, injury concerns in college. And now it's carrying over to the NFL. I don't know. It's still early, though.
It's still early. We'll see what happens. Listen, I got to slide off, man. You have yourself a good night, my friend. It was a great call, man.
All right, brother. Take care. Likewise.
All right. Listen, D giving us a little something. You know what I'm saying? Giving us a little something and letting us know, hey, that's his take from his side. I respect it. Listen. This has been a hot show, man. So much to discuss. We're going to go ahead and close that poll now. We're going to see, how many people are thinking. What are people thinking around here? All right. So the answer to the poll, all the savages, salute to all the savages in the chat. Should Streveler be the Jets' third-string quarterback? All right? 100% of the chat, quite a bit of people, said yes. Wow. All right. People are ready to move on and give Streveler that third-string quarterback job. I respect it. He's looked phenomenal. I like Streveler. I just want to see him pushed up a little bit and see what he can do against better competition. If he can show me something like that against guys that, could be starters, guys that are, in that late first string, that second string, then third string, he's a guy that's provided a spark. It'd be hard to deny him. But it's been a great show, man. Again, we got the Giants coming up. We're going to be talking about that as well. Let me tell you something, guys, that I'm looking at against the Giants, Denzel Mims. I need to see you have another solid game. Again, I want to see more from Streveler, too. I want to see Cager out there, see what he can do, what he can bring to the table. There's some guys that really need to continue to push forward to really close out some spots on the roster. And I think, again, Denzel Mims is that guy. I need to see solid production out of him, in his final game as well. I need to see him go out there and do some things. Again, he's been all right, played all right. He's really been able to kind of bounce back, fight, and get himself back into a situation here with the Jets. But he's definitely a guy that I'm looking at. Another guy, Ashton Davis on defense. Ashton Davis has got to start doing more. We need to see more out of Ashton Davis. So, again, we're going to go ahead and close out the show. I want to thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I am also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. Again, YoungJ000. All right, you want to troll me? No problems. I'll troll you right back. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. and we can troll each other back and forth. Always keep in mind that I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times. I'll have that Vera Tucker jersey on. Yeah. You know, he just looked amazing. He looked amazing his rookie year. He's going to look amazing in his second year as well. You know, that's just what we do at SC. We just turn out amazing prospects. We just turn out amazing players. You know, we just put them into the NFL, let them do their thing. You know, so we'll be down there trolling. So if you want to go back and forth, we can do that. I'm also on YouTube as well. YouTube, okay. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right, come on over, hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell. If you want to troll me, no issue. We'll go back and forth in the comments and we troll each other. And as always, people, when you see me in person, and eventually you will see me in person, all right, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. No matter what anyone tells you, the hugs will always remain free. I want to thank you folks for listening and calling in. Without you people, I'm absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen and call into the show. You folks are absolutely the best. Again, you folks have a good one. Peace.